having said all of this, we still have a question. What are the basic, the most important super factors for personality? Finally, we look at what is called a 5-factor model of classification to personality. And this is very much initiated by Louis R. Goldberg. And he is a pioneer on developing the Big Five personality theory. And also he has extensive experience in teaching psychology in different countries, including Netherlands, Turkey, and US. Goldberg claims that differences among trait theorists have raised a fundamental question. If traits are the basic units of personality, why can't trait theorists agree on which and how many units are basic? So how basic is basic? And a consensus emerged gradually on a 5-factor model of personality known as the Big Five. Of FFM stands for 5-factor model. The Big Five model are designed to capture the personality traits that people consider as being the most important. And the Big Five model subsumes a large number of more specific traits within each factor and are as broad as superfactors in the personality hierarchy. Now, this is just to give you an example of what the Big Five really means: the extroversion, the conscientiousness, the emotional stability, the agreeableness, and intellect, or open-mindedness. This is how the Big Five stands for. And later on, it becomes what is called ocean model. Why ocean? Because ocean in English means 海洋. The first letter of each word: openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. And each of the 5 factors actually represent a continuum of behaviors. And here are some of the characteristics within each category. You can see, and I don't have to read out, you can see instead of having super 3 factors, now we have super 5 factors. But it's a lot better than super 16. It's too many. There are scores, tests to look at the Big Five, and it assesses proactive seeking and appreciation of experiences for its own sake. All right? And on the higher end, the high scorer are typically curious, broad interests, creative, original, imaginative, and untraditional. Whereas for low scorers, it's the conventional, down-to-earth, narrow interests, artistic, analytical. Now for conscientiousness, for the higher end is the organized, reliable, hardworking, self-disciplined, punctual, neat, ambitious, persevering. On the lower end is aimless, realizable, lazy, careless, relaxed, negligent, weak-willed. Okay? And for extroversion, the high scorer are typically sociable, active, talkative, person-centered, optimistic, fun-loving, affectionate. And low scorers are typically reserved, number, unexperienced, aloof, task-oriented, retiring, quiet. And for agreeableness, the high scorers are typically soft-hearted, good-natured, trusting, helpful, forgiving, gullible, straightforward. And the low scorers are typically cynical, rude, suspicious, uncooperative, vengeful, ruthless, irritable, manipulative. And for neuroticism, the high scorers typically worrying, nervous, emotional, insecure, inadequate. And for low scorers, they're typically calm, relaxed, emotional, hardy, secure, self-satisfied. Okay, what do you want to become? Basically, you have a list of ideal self and actual self. And to have self-actualization is to have a better self-maturity. Anyway, these factors have been found to be largely consistent across different cultures. However, not everyone agrees with the 5-factor model. Some people talk about more factors being needed, others being less. We know already less. I think maintain 3. But others think, no, there's no more than 5. It has to be 7, 11, whatever. Okay? So the variables of factors analysis means that there could be more than one acceptable factor solution for the same set of data. And also look at our gender differences. Studies generally show that for agreeableness, women tend to score higher on measures of agreeableness than the men because they're more submissive and are more affectionate. Okay? For neuroticism, women also tend to score higher on anxiety and are easier to have symptoms of depression and have a lower self-esteem compared to men. Women also score higher on neuroticism. For conscientiousness, gender differences are really consistent or examined. Well, that's for the gender difference. From an evolutionary perspective, evolutionary psychologists emphasized on the importance of judging the behaviors of others in terms of promoting survival. And most people would want someone who is agreeable, extroverted, conscientious, energetic, and non-neurotic as a partner, as a friend, as opposed to the opposite. Let's look at some other criticism of Big Five. One common criticism is that the Big Five does not explain all of the human personality or experiences, such as religiosity, manipulativeness, Machiavellianism, honesty, modesty, straightforwardness, conservativeness, masculinity, and femininity, and humor. Another common criticism is that Big Five does not account for cultural differences across different societies. It basically accounts for personality structure of Anglo-Saxon populations. So, for the Chinese, apart from Big Five, what else that is needed has been proven important for understanding Chinese people? First is modesty or arrogance, humility or self-centeredness. That's one paradigm or one super factor. Another super factor is obedience, conformity as opposed to non-conforming. So to understand the Chinese, we need to have Big Seven. Or some other people claim for understand Latino or Spanish population, you need to have a Big 11. So 11 super factors. So the conclusion is Big Five, Big Seven, Big 11. What's the big deal? The big deal is that we need to continue to study and continue to revise ourselves the best we can. Having said all of this, do you understand your personality better? Now, if you want to know more, please follow the other lectures about how we develop what we are and why we have developed what we are. And that is all for today's lecture. Thank you.